Shabbat Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai B'Hashem Chakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, as well as honor to the men under the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect and those who hope to be of that number. This is an article from The Guardian. UK think tank calls for door-to-door crown jabs to tackle max disparities. Ministers are being urged to offer maxi door-to-door in hard-to-reach, deprived and minority ethnic communities amid fears that crown could become a disease of poverty. As leaders set out plans to reopen society, with 1 in 3 UK adults already having got their first dose, experts said the stark disparity in maxi uptake in pockets of the country risks leading to the max rich being protected while the virus continued to circulate in disadvantaged areas. Speaking to The Guardian, Dr. Halima Begum said, Dr. Halima Begum, the chief executive on the Runnymede Trust think tank, said if people were not able or willing to go to the GP surgeries, hospitals or max centres, members of the NHS Max Army should go to them. Check out what NHS Max Army is. It's basically the armed forces and the NHS working together. And this is the government website. The UK government website, gov.uk. Armed forces now working in hospitals, max centres and testing across all 4 nations. Over 5,000 armed forces personnel are now deployed on the largest... yeah. And here's the pit we wanted. Maxes. As efforts to max all priority groups continue, 20 max quick reaction force teams have now been deployed in support of the NHS. These mobile teams have been deployed to help. Deployed is a military term, to help administer maxes wherever requested, including Ashton Gate in Bristol and South End University in Essex. The number of teams available to provide short notice max support to the NHS has now went up from 20 to 41 in order to make sure further support can be immediately provided if needed by the NHS as it continues to accelerate the max rollout. So the army is working with the NHS to jab people. It says Crown Forces.net. This is 4 days ago. The military's role in UK mass maxing. I can't say that word because YT is the British military is against. Okay, yeah. You see what it is. Currently, a max is offered to people in their own homes if they are registered with their GP as housebound or immobile if they can't get out of the house. NHS England said in some areas GPs were increasing their efforts, highlighting the case of the London-based GP Dr. Farzana Hussain, who has phoned every patient. I read a bit up on her. She's basically called up all the people in her that go, attend her surgery, all the patients in the surgery, calling them up to see if they've taken the jab to help improve jab uptake. Here she is, GP online. London GP personally calling out at-risk patients to boost crown max uptake. London GP, this is Dr. Farzana Hussain, it's just a picture of her. There she is, Aberdeen Evening Express. GP Dr. Farzana Hussain vows to call every patient who refuses crown jab to combat max hesitancy. So she's calling up every patient of her surgery to increase the uptake of the jab. So at least for her, as much as possible, virtually, if not every one of her patients have taken the jab. She's pushing this shit hard. Who has phoned every patient from her surgery who has been offered but not yet accepted their jab. But there are no plans to roll out a door-to-door max scheme for those in hard-to-reach areas. Well, okay. But you know, the government can always change in a heartbeat. They said they weren't going to push, bring out max passports, but here we are. Brothers already told us, the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yashai said, yeah, they're going to be pushing that shit anyway. And lo and behold, they have. You can see Israel with the Israeli getting their health passports. Things opening up. Belgium said black. Fuck Sakia. Bergam said BAME communities were particularly vulnerable to being left unmaxed. We would urge the government to take the jab door-to-door when necessary, she said. Although there are a lot of max centres in inner cities, a lot of elderly and immobile people are simply unable to get there. Why is that? Because it's harder for them to move around with their more frail bodies. Data last week revealed a huge disparity in max uptake between areas with high and low BAME populations. In Birmingham's Spark Road and Balsall Heath East, an inner city area home to a large Somali population and where 90% of residents are BAME, just 57% of over 80s had received their first jab compared with an estimated 93.4% nationally. Wonder if that's true. It's 93.4% nationally. The ward is one of many in Birmingham with large BAME communities to have low max take-up compared with areas such as Rubery and Redinal, which has a BAME population of 9% and where 91% of over 80s has received their first dose. Dr. Mike Tildesley, a professor of infectious disease modelling at the University of Warwick and a member of the UK's government SPI-M advisory group, said on Tuesday the failure to ensure all communities were protected could lead to a societal split. We know there are certain areas, in particular inner city areas, deprived areas, where max uptake is not as high. This is a real concern, that we may end up in a situation where we have the max rich, as it were, who are able to access the max, who have taken up the max and are at much lower risk, and maybe the people in society who have not taken up the max. Potentially, these individuals could be clustered in particular parts of the country, and there is an increased risk there, he told BBC Radio 4. Asked about the alarming prospect of society opening up thanks to the max, but Crown remaining as a disease of the poor, he said, "This is a real concern for me." Begum said the UK could not afford to have a max divide. Dr. Tildesley is right with his predictions and confirms that those groups who are the poorest in society will be disproportionately impacted unless we focus on innovative ways to improve access to the maxi, she said. Because we have a universal health system in the UK, access to the maxi is presumed as given. But what people don't see is the unequal access to health services, which has led to less take-up of health services in deprived communities and areas across the UK. Perhaps people simply don't want to take it. Some people know this stuff ain't, what mainstream media and the NHS and others who claim it to be the thing that rhymes with space. For you Israelites, you know not to get caught in the flesh, not to defile your temple. Okay? Pray for the Most High to heal you. No, pray. Have faith. Use herbs if you have need of them, as Sirach 38 says. I think I'm done reading that article. I'll leave the link to that article in the description box. Sirach 38 4, but let me get first 2 first. Oh, okay, yeah, let me just, yeah. Sirach 38, 2. For of the Most High Yahweh cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. And then I'm going to jump to verse 4. Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach 38, verse 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. You're not going to stay away from them if you have need of them. The Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, hath created medicine out of the earth. These medicines he's created out of the earth, talking about, are herbs. Okay? The maxes go against the scripture. Here's the scripture it goes against. Leviticus 21:5. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave of the corner of their beard, nor make any cuts in their flesh. So you can't wax or shave your head bald. Neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, so you can't shave your beard off, nor make any cuttings in their flesh, so no cuttings in the flesh. And if you check out the Hebrew word here, it's sharat, sharat. And let me just get in the Blue Letter Bible. Is it sarat? I'm just gonna check. I might be getting it wrong there. So Leviticus 21:5. Pardon me if I got that Hebrew wrong. I just need to see it. But yeah, it's telling you to have no cuttings in the flesh. This clearly gets cut into your flesh by way of a hypodermic needle, hypounderdermic skin. A needle gets under your skin by cutting into your skin. That's going against scripture, since the scripture says that the scripture said to not get cut in the flesh. The whole idea of these maxis go against scriptures because they involve you getting a cut into your flesh. And sin is transgression of the law, so sin is breaking of the law, and this is a sin to do so. You're rehearsing righteous acts between the Judges 5:11, trying to keep the law, statute, commandments to the best of your abilities. You know it can't save you, but it's the schoolmaster. It's what brings you to Yahushua. Oh, it's sharata. Sharata. Hebrew words. Sharata. Sharat. And when you go into it, sharat, it's the same as Leviticus 19:28, incision or cut. And when you define incision, it's a small surgical cut in the skin or flesh. And to check out the root word for this, there it is, sharat. It's the same thing. To incise, scratch, carry cuts, to make incision, cut in pieces. They'd be scratched or lacerated, be cut. It's going to cut into your skin. It goes against the scripture. If you don't know what sin is, here's the scripture I was making reference to. 1 John 3:4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Now going back to the 1611 King James, I want to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Second Exodus 16, 60. I'm gonna go to Second Exodus 16, 70 through 72. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. You shall be like madman. It's like a madman, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. We're going to be cast out of their houses. The time is coming. We're going to be cast out of their houses. The NHS and alongside the army, if you're in the UK, is going to be going door to door to certain areas to make sure that people are being jabbed up. Hey, the devil's going to come down with great wrath, because that short time the enemy is going to come in like flood, so expect it. The scripture tells us in 2 Corinthians 16:40, be as pilgrims upon the earth. Our pilgrim's not around, not long. Anyway, hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, shalom.